A journalist began by recounting how Taylor Swift's name trended across social media after reports surfaced that the Trump administration had used her song "The Life of a Showgirl" in official posts, with neither warning nor apparent approval from Swift or her representatives. Swift had previously been known for steering clear of politics, but that changed in 2018 when she voiced her support for specific political candidates, urging her millions of fans to vote and participate in the democratic process. The current situation had observers speculating about her silence, especially considering her earlier commitment to social justice and willingness to speak out on issues like LGBTQ+ rights and gender equality. The administration's posts, which featured snippets of her song over promotional content about new policies, caught the attention of fans and political commentators alike, who quickly noticed the absence of any public reaction from Swift. One fan, interviewed at a recent concert, said she found the silence confusing, recalling how Swift had once said she wanted to be remembered for standing up for what was right. The journalist noted that the issue went beyond simple disappointment, suggesting that Swift's refusal or inability to comment might reflect a more complex set of legal, professional, and personal factors than most fans realize. Swift's management of her music rights was highlighted, as she had famously fought for her masters and advocated for artists' control over their work. With that context, the journalist explained, fans might expect her to react forcefully to what they saw as unauthorized use of her music in a political context. She had previously criticized. A longtime industry observer remarked that artists often face difficult choices when their work is co-opted by political actors, especially ones they disagree with, as taking public action can sometimes backfire or draw even more attention to the original misuse. The reporter described how, in the days following the administration's posts, Swift's social media feeds remained unchanged, filled with tour updates and personal messages, but with no mention of the controversy. Online speculation grew, with some fans posting messages urging her to speak out. Subscribe if you want updates on stories like this. The journalist then turned to previous examples of musicians responding when their songs were used in politics, noting that acts like the Rolling Stones and Bruce Springsteen had sent cease and desist letters or made public statements distancing themselves from campaigns. Swift's lack of a similar move led some to question whether there were ongoing legal discussions behind the scenes, or whether her team was taking a different approach. A legal analyst weighed in, explaining that music licensing is a labyrinth of contracts, rights, and permissions, often leaving artists with little recourse if their songs are covered by blanket licenses, but also pointing out that artists' statements can still shape public perception. The conversation shifted to Swift's evolving public persona, with a cultural critic recalling how early in her career she had been careful to avoid controversy, focusing on universal themes in her songwriting and avoiding political statements. That began to change as she grew older and her audience diversified, culminating in her 2018 Instagram post endorsing candidates and advocating for equality. The critic noted that Swift's willingness to risk backlash marked a turning point, one that made her current silence stand out even more. Meanwhile, fans debated possible reasons for her lack of response, with some speculating that her legal team might be working quietly behind the scenes, while others believed she was waiting for the right moment to speak. The journalist cited one anonymous source, close to Swift, who claimed that the singer was aware of the situation but had not decided on a public course of action. The journalist also mentioned that Swift's public image has always been carefully curated, balancing her desire for authenticity with the demands of a massive global brand. In this case, any response, whether legal, social, or personal, could have far-reaching implications, not only for her, but for other artists whose music might be used without their consent. The report went on to describe how the Trump administration's use of popular music in official posts had sparked controversy before, with several artists objecting to similar situations. Some legal scholars argued that copyright law offers limited protection in these cases, especially if the music is licensed through the appropriate channels. However, they acknowledge that public statements from artists can influence public opinion and even affect how campaigns choose music in the future. As the days passed without a response from Swift, the story continued to circulate online, with fans posting theories and expressing frustration or support. A segment of the fanbase organized hashtags and online petitions, calling on Swift to clarify her stance or pursue legal action. The journalist noted that this activism reflected Swift's influence not just as a musician, but as a figure whose choices shape broader conversations about art, politics, and celebrity responsibility. Subscribe for more music news updates. The report then shifted to reactions from political commentators, some of whom saw Swift's silence as a calculated move, possibly aimed at avoiding further polarization or unwanted legal battles. Others argued that her brand was built on authenticity and advocacy, and that remaining silent risked undermining her credibility with fans who saw her as a leader on social issues. The journalist referenced a statement by a former campaign advisor, who said that artists often have to weigh the risks of engaging in political disputes, particularly when the stakes are high and the outcome uncertain. The piece included an interview with a copyright lawyer, who explained that while public condemnation can be effective, the legal options available to Swift might be limited, depending on how the music was used and whether it was covered by existing licenses. The lawyer also pointed out that litigation could be time-consuming and costly, sometimes resulting in little more than a public relations victory. The journalist described how this legal ambiguity leaves artists in a difficult position, forced to choose between protecting their work and avoiding unnecessary controversy. Returning to Swift's history, the report noted her previous battles over music rights, including her efforts to regain control of her catalog and her vocal support for fellow musicians facing similar challenges. This background, the journalist argued, made her silence in the current case all the more striking, as it contrasted with her reputation for advocacy and assertiveness. An entertainment reporter added that Swift's team was known for its strategic communication, often choosing the right moment to make statements or take action. In this case, they suggested, the decision to remain silent might be part of a broader plan, possibly involving negotiations or behind-the-scenes discussions. Meanwhile, political analysts speculated about the broader implications of the story, wondering whether Swift's lack of response signaled a shift in her approach to public controversies. Some suggested that the polarized political climate made it harder for celebrities to take clear stances, without alienating segments of their audience. Others argued that Swift's reach and influence made her uniquely positioned to shape the conversation, regardless of the risks involved. The journalist cited polling data showing that Swift's endorsements and statements in the past had influenced public attitudes, especially among younger voters. This track record, they argued, heightened expectations for her to address the current controversy, whether through a public statement, legal action, or other means. The report included comments from fans who said they respected Swift's right to handle the situation as she saw fit, but still hoped she would eventually make her position clear. One longtime supporter said that Swift's advocacy had inspired her to become more politically active and that she looked to the singer for guidance in uncertain times. The journalist concluded that the story was far from over, with Swift's next move likely to have ripple effects across the music industry and beyond. Subscribe if you don't want to miss what happens next. The final segment focused on the broader debate about artists' rights and the use of music in politics, with experts calling for clearer guidelines and stronger protections. The journalist noted that the controversy highlighted ongoing tensions between creative control, free expression, and political messaging. As the story continued to unfold, fans and observers alike waited for Swift's response, knowing that whatever she decided would be closely watched and widely discussed. The report ended with a reminder that artists, no matter how powerful, still face challenges when their work intersects with politics, and that the balance between personal conviction and professional strategy remains as delicate as ever.